Hello there, I'm Thomas, the pilot flying the Boeing 777-300 ERX night flight from Zurich International Airport. We're going to be flying over Switzerland and Germany. We'll fly in Germany, Munich region, and then coming back to Zurich and Switzerland for landing. So right now I'm in the cockpit for the pre-takeoff preparation. I'm going to show you most of the systems of the Boeing 777-300 ERX up to the end of the simulation. So I'm gonna show you the primary flight display, the USB display, the barometric cowl is above sea level, magnetic trip heading, the autopilot and the auto thrust modes displayed, the navigation display with the GPS terrain map display, and the airports and the traffic, the other aircraft flying around the aircraft, and some other information, and also the flight plan we're going to be created from the flight management computer, and we're going to use it for flying with this aircraft. So I'm also going to be showing you the autopilot flight director system display with the autopilot, like the heading, the airspeed selected, the altitude selected, the vertical rate of climb or descent selected, and also the VNAV and the LNAV modes, and the approach and board lock modes for the Lszh localizer for landing and auto land. So I'm also going to be showing you the two auto thrust systems we have and the autopilot engage and disengage button. So I'm going to also show you the thrust levers and how to use them to apply thrust from the engines, and also how to use the auto thrust disconnect button from the thrust levers and the thrust reverse. And also I'm going to be showing you the speed brake, the stabilizer trim, which is integrated in the flight control surfaces. I'm also going to be showing you the flap lever. This is all in the pedestal. I'm also going to be showing you I'm going to be showing you the overhead panel systems, like the electrical, the batteries, the APU battery and the primary battery, and also so I'm going to show you the great drive generators from the left and the right engine that produce alternate current about 75,000 kilovolts for an average airliner of this size, 75,000 watts. So I'm also going to be showing you of electrical alternating power, and we have 38 volts from the battery, about 50 amperes and 50 amperes, and 150 volts 400 hertz alternate current from the IDGs, from the degree drive generator. So I'm going to be showing you also the hydraulic pumps from the left and right engine, and the backup standby electrical C1 and C2. I'm also going to be showing you the fuel pumps, the left and the right wing, and the center tank pumps, and also I'm going to be showing you the pressurization system and the APU, how to start the APU, the auxiliary power unit, and how to use the supply compressor during the engine start process. So I'm going to make an engine start demonstration, how to start the engine before takeoff and flight. So I'm also going to be showing you the pressurized air panel and how to use it. I'm also going to be showing you the navigation communications panel, the air data inertial reference system unit, the ADIRU, and also I'm going to be showing you the flight control system with the control column for controlling the elevator up and down, moving the elevator, horizontal tail stabilizer, elevator up and down, and pitching up and pitching down the aircraft, and also how to use the control column for bang rolling the aircraft using the ailerons and the spoilers. And also I'm going to show you the stabilizer trim and the flaps, which are also part of the flight controls, and also the rudder trim, the elevator trim, and how to use them with the various features, also the flight management computer. So I'm going to start right now with the flight phase, showing you maybe we have like 1 hour and 10 minutes for this flight. So I'm going to start with the flight control column and the control column and the control wheel, and show you the rest of the cockpit and the instruments. So thank you very much for joining this flight. As I said, I'm Thomas, the pilot flying the Boeing 777-300 ERX in this flight. And as you can see, this is the cockpit of the Boeing 777-300 ERX. So you can see we have various systems here. We have the thrust levers, for instance. We can increase the engine thrust here, as you can see, and this is displayed here in the N1, the low pressure, low speed stage of the turbofan turbocharged engine, the exhaust gas temperature. You can see the messages here displayed in the upper ECAS, engine indication to alert system. You can see the Boeing 777 here, the trademark of this aircraft. You can see the pressurization from the left and right engine used for pressurizing the cabin and the fuel on board, and the temperature of the fuel, 55,500 kilograms. So it's about 34%. We have the N2 here, the high pressure, high speed rotor stage of the engine, the fuel flow, which is the high pressure compressor starter, and turbine. So we have the fuel flow here. The other one, the N1, is the low pressure and low speed starter of the turbine and compressor of the turbofan engine. So we have the fuel flow 2100 kilograms per engine per hour, the oil pressure, the oil temperature, oil quality, and the vibration from the engine. So you can see we have the flight management computer here. We use it to input information about the aircraft and setting up the flight plan we're gonna have here. In the navigation display, where we have the airports and the GPS and terrain map and the other data for the aircraft. So you can see our position here and our airport. Here you can see the primary flight display. You can see the minimum airspeed displayed and the ground speed, which is 0. The airspeed selected 200 knots. Here is the barometric altitude above the sea level, 1,430 feet for the Zurich International Airport, and the barometric pressure is 39.92 inches of hydraulic. So you can see the magnetic oil heading here with the Lszh needle later, and the radio altitude, and as I said, the altitude selected. Here you can see this panel, the autopilot, the airspeed, the heading. We're gonna set the heading of the runway and the altitude selected, and the autopilot connect, disconnect buttons. You can see we can press this and select various modes. For instance, we can select higher altitude here, moving this switch, for instance, like the altitude we're gonna be flying here. We change the altitude here, 25,000 feet. Some of the thrust levers. We also need to connect the flight director. Flight director is off right now. It's a flight director, and the modes we can take off right now. The takeoff go around. You can see here we have the flight guidance for the aircraft displayed with this material cross. So this is the limit for takeoff. Takeoff roll. So we also have the LNAV and the VNAV displayed. So you can see here we have the control wheel and the control column, the flight controls. This is the overhead panel with the electrical, the hydraulics, the fuel, and the air system, and the flight control computers and the air data inertial reference unit, some other systems. Most of these are automated in this aircraft. So you can see the communication panel here, navigation radio panel, the RMP. You can set up the frequencies for conduct the air traffic controller, or for the ILS, for instance, for an ILS landing. We would do it manually. This is the stabilizer trim position here. This is the horizontal tail of the aircraft. As a whole, you can use this trim switch here, or this trim switch here in this control wheel, alongside with this the autopilot disconnect button. So we have some other buttons here. I will explain maybe in another slide. No much time for this right now. You can see the landing gear here, external track, and the auto brake system. So we have not much time left for this display. So we have maybe like about an hour left. So you can see an outside view again of the Boeing 777 aircraft, a beautiful Boeing aircraft. So hope you like it. So you can see where we are right now, positioned in this airport, and the runway I'm gonna use for takeoff. So you can see also the engines here. How powerful this aircraft is. The Boeing 777-300 so it climbs very fast and flies very fast also. So you can see the engines here again. So I'm gonna show you more of the aircraft systems now. So you can see here we have also some other systems displayed with this display. We can use this PNTG setup. So display. You can see here we have the engines. We have the status of the aircraft. Some systems like the APU right now is off, so the hydraulic and the oxygen, pure oxygen. So the engines, the checklist, the communications, synoptics. Here you can see the door. The doors are closed right now, and the aircraft is pressurized. The cabin. So you can see the landing gear here. The tires are pressurized, and the temperature of the brakes on the tires and the brake phones, if there is any. So you can see electrical left and right engine here. You can see the APU is not off. It's off right now. It's not on. So maybe we come over here and turn the APU on. So we use this switch here. Turn the APU on. So this is the electrical panel, the left engine, the right engine, electrical power. We have the integrated drive generator, supply electrical power. So you can see here in the status we have the APU start running now, which is a small auxiliary power unit, a small turbine in the tail of the aircraft used for starting the engine and for backup in flight. So you can see the exhaust gas temperature, rotations per minute increasing, oil temperature, oil quantity. So it's almost here. It's gonna be about 100%. You're gonna see the APU symbol going in green now when the APU is running. So I'm gonna come with the rest of the systems, maybe a little bit faster. Maybe I'm gonna show you the flight controls while the APU is running. So I'm also gonna show you here is the hydraulic system. I'm gonna show you in the overhead panel. Here we have the left engine and the right engine hydraulics, the C1 and C2 backup hydraulic power system. You can see where is the hydraulic power going, the hydraulic fluid. The flight controls like the horizontal tail and the vertical stabilizer, and also main gear steering, the brakes, nose gearing, and the thrust reverser. So I'm also going to show you some other system. You can see in the center we have the left and the right wing engine hydraulic pumps, and the C1, C2 is the backup electrical here in case of an emergency. You can see also we have the fuel panel here. We have the left and the right engine, and the APU right now is running, so it's consuming some electrical power. So you may see here we have the APU is running, the left engine, right engine, the fuel on board the aircraft, and the valves here are open. The crossfeed valve is off, and the left wing and the right wing uh, tanks 37,500 kilograms each, and the center tank is off because it's empty right now. You can see the air system here. We have the left and the right wing engine here supplying compressed air into the aircraft. So I'm gonna be showing you all these systems in the overhead panel later. So you can see here is the aircraft. Here is the compressor from the intermediate and high pressure states of the engine, and from the APU, which is off right now. The APU is running but not supplying the system because we have the engines on. Supplying for the cabin pressurization and for hydraulic fluid of the flight controls. And now come for the flight controls here. I can see the left and the right wing and the elevator, the tail of the aircraft, as you can see here in the outside. So maybe I'm gonna move this you can see here we have the flap lever. You can use this down, all the way down. Moving down this moves the flaps down, while the speed brake moves the speed brakes down. So you can see here we have also the thrust reverse for the engines. So if I engage this, the thrust reverse for the engines, you will see the thrust being reverse thrust. You can use maximum reverse for slowing down the aircraft in the ground. You can see the flaps now being down, going down to about 30 degrees, all the way down full. So you can see here we have now the flaps are extended into the flat. We have more flight controls now, like that. Better view of the flight controls. So you may also see here we have the thrust reverse blocker doors, which reverses the flow of the air from the engine. So I'm coming now in. So maybe I'm gonna slow down the thrust reverse. You don't need this. So we have just had a landing here at 737. So use this the speed brakes again. Coming back here, I'm gonna show you how to start the engines. I'm gonna show you very briefly all the systems. We have like 1 hour to go. So right now I'm gonna show you how to use all the flight controls. The elevator picks up and picks down, the rudder with the control column and the control wheel, and also for the alerts and the spoilers of the aircraft, how to use the barrel and how to control the aircraft. In flying we're using its vertical axis, the rudder, the horizontal longitudinal axis, the alerts and the spoiler for barrel, and also the rudder is for young, and also the elevator around its lateral axis between the left and right wing for pitching up and pitching down the aircraft. So I'm gonna show you the axis of controlling the aircraft around its center of gravity when flying, and I'm gonna do that with flight control column. It's Later I'm gonna do the flight management computer setup after starting up the engine, showing you the overhead panel system. So let me now continue with the flight management with the control column here. So you can see we use this to control the aircraft in flight. It's up, it's down, bang roll left and right, and here is the pitch of the stabilizer, the horizontal stabilizer pitch string, which is also displayed here in degrees from 0 to about 14 degrees up. Nose down as you go to 0, nose up as you go about 5 degrees. So here's the pitch string lever also. We use this to control the pitch string. It doesn't have the rotating wheel, spinning wheel like the 737 or the Airbus aircraft. So this is more like a 767 actually, aircraft, Boeing 767. So you can see the control column, control wheel. So now I'm gonna show you my side stick. So I'm using this to control the aircraft in flight, pitching up and pitching down, bunker left and right. Hope you can see it. So you can see also I'm using the rudder pedals like that, and pitching up and pitching down, trimming up and down the horizontal tail. So hopefully you can see I'm controlling the aircraft in flight. We also have the thrust levers here, as you can see. You have the thrust levers here to control the engine thrust. So this is identical to the Airbus aircraft, I use very well for the Boeing also. So hopefully you can see that. We have the control input here, which is proportional to the side stick deflection. Like here. So you may also see here we have the flight control display, all these inputs from the aileron, spoilers, elevator. You can see the flight control surfaces and the wings of the aircraft and the tail, and also the trim position. So you may see here, as I said, also this is displayed like that, pitching up and pitching down the aircraft. Also bang rolling the aircraft. And so I'm gonna show you now the outside view for using the flight controls of the Boeing 777, as you can see. So you may see the flight control surfaces, bang rolling left and right, and pitching up and pitching down, and also the rudder. So you can see the flaps are fully down, 30 degrees down for this aircraft. You can see the position here of the side stick deflection with the elevator and the ailerons and the rudder. So this is so much for the flight control version in this flight. I'm gonna come now for the for starting up the engines now. So you can also see here the wings, better view of the bungalow. How we use this control column and the side stick. Hopefully now a better view. So I'm gonna come now inside the aircraft and start the engines. Already start down the engines and start them up again. So this is so much for the Boeing 777 flight control lesson. So I'm gonna come now here inside. Have less than 1 hour for this flight, so I'm also gonna be showing here very fast how to use all these. We also have the modes here, the checklist. Here's the checklist of the aircraft, the electronic checklist. We have an electronic control panel for this aircraft. It's full electronic. We have the pre-flight. We use this as a reminder for checking out we did all the right things. So you can see checklist is complete for the pre-takeoff. Before starting the engines, actually, you can see all the things we have to do, and the checklist is complete. You can see also we have some resets. We have the normal menu here. Before takeoff, after takeoff, descent, approach, landing. We have the resets, and we also have the non-normal menu. We have some kind of instance like electrical failure, for instance. You can see what we have to do in here in the electronic checklist. No, this for no. And here is what we have to do. If we press yes or no on its occasion. So I'm going back to the normal menu. I'm going maybe to the engines. So I'm gonna show you how to start the engines. I have not much time left for this flight. So maybe less than 1 hour for this flight. So I'm gonna show you the overhead panel here very quickly. I'll do an engine start demonstration. So we have the overhead upper panel. Here you can see we have various systems. You can see the aircraft inside, the Boeing 777 as I said, the cockpit. So you see the various instruments. You can see the engines, for instance. You can see here is the stabilizer, cut out trim switches. Usually this is normal for flight because the auto trim system and the autopilot will lose the electrical control for the stabilizer trims. So you can see here we have the autopilot system. You can set the airspeed higher, for instance, like 250 knots. Connect and disconnect the autopilot. The heading, we're gonna use the heading of the airport here, of the runway, actually not of the airport. So and the bang angle, you can control the bang angle like that. So when the autopilot is connected, so we're gonna leave this in auto. You can use the whole switch. Use these switches here, the vertical speed, climb or descend the aircraft, for takeoff, after takeoff actually. You can see the airspeed here, the autopilot connect, and the auto thrust here, and the autopilot disconnect button. We have the modes here connected, because this is the press button. As you can see, you can depress this button and the other switches here. So we disconnect the warning here. We don't need it. Have another traffic here, another small aircraft. Lszh. So I'm gonna show you some of the overhead panel here. We can disconnect the left and the right engine conductors, but not disconnect this cover, the switches. We need to leave them on. So you have the left and the right bus switches, the battery and the APU generator. Here is the primary flight computers and the thrust asymmetry compensation, auto, the air data enhancer reference unit, which is used to display all the data you see here. We need some reconfiguration now. We need to realign this actually. So I'm gonna come here. Need the position. Maybe. You can see the model position initialized. The reference there first. Let's see 8. Was there it? And you can set the IRS position here using the flight management computer as the last position or the GPS position. So you can set this GPS position, and you have the alignment. It's gonna take like a few minutes or seconds time to align, and we are ready. Here we have all the data and the terrain map display, just like we had it before. The aircraft is ready for this part. So we have like I don't know, maybe like 40 more minutes for this flight, so I'm gonna do very fast. The engine starts, so you can see here we have as I said, the electrical. We're ready with this. We have the hydraulics here. We're ready with this, the left and the right engine. We can turn on and off the hydraulic pumps. We have the RDIs here somewhere. We have the electrical, the lighting, the window shade, the passenger oxygen. You can see the engine, electronic engine mode for the 5X, the full authority digital engine control computers, normal or alternate. We have the engine start selectors here and the auto start on and off. We also have the fuel dump. We can dump fuel in flight if we arm this. How much we want to dump in flight. So we have the left and right wing and the center time. The crossfeed, we can turn the crossfeed on and off. We also have the RDIs here for the wing and the engines, which is automatic right now. We have the cabin pressurization auto manual. We use these controllers for the outflow valve to pressurize or depressurize the cabin while climbing or descending. You have the left and right engine and the APU, the auxiliary power engine compressed air for pressurizing the cabin, the hydraulic fluids, and for starting the engine starter compressor when you start the engine, and also for the air conditioning and the ventilation of the aircraft. So I'm gonna start the engines right now. I'm gonna show you how to start them. This is so much for this part. We have to be very fast for this. We have less time actually. We have -2 after 6. So we have like less than 1 hour, a lot less than 1 hour. So we have to start the engine, so I'm gonna turn off the engine fuel levers off. So you will see the engine shut down now. Message. Engine shut down. The autopilot disconnect here. See, this is the exhaust gas temperature, the N1. The fuel flow is 0 now, but the engine keeps spinning because there is residual fuel into the engine. So this is very fast now how to start the engine and how to fly this aircraft. So I'm coming back inside. You're gonna see the engine slowing down to 0. So gonna come here in the overhead panel and use the engine start, and you can see the reconfiguration here of the switches. Some are off, some switches are off. We're gonna use the auto start. So we use for the left engine first. You can see the engine bleeds now are off while the APU is on. So you can see some compressor inside the left engine, and the N2 above 20%. So you can see the right engine, the right wing engine, the left wing engine starts spinning. We are about to start it. So you can see we only need to do one thing. You can see the spinning initiated. Start this fuel control lever to the on position, the left wing engine. So you're gonna see here the N1, the exhaust gas temperature, the N2 and the fuel flow. You see the spinning increase very rapidly. And here we have the left wing engine on. Now we go into the other wing engine. This side engine is still off, as you can see. So we need to turn on. Go over here. We have a few more minutes for this flight, so we need to be very fast. The auto start again. We have this balance here. So you may see here we have the N1 again increasing. The N2 also above 20%, so we can start it. Fuel flow is 0. The fuel cutoff valve is off. This is the right wing engine. You can see it has started spinning. This must be the General Electric Gen X engine. So we start the right wing fuel cutoff lever on. You can see the right wing engine start spinning. You can see the spin is almost complete. Start spinning process. So we go back into the cockpit. Only need to set up a few things just before takeoff. Only this and this. We have the altitude hold, and the LNAV maybe later. We only need to set the flaps at 15 degrees, 25 and 50. Here is 15 degrees. So after setting up the position, we go into the index. We have the performance here, 0 fuel weight and gross weight, as you can see. We have the reserves, it should be 5% for this aircraft, and the cost index, it should be 100. So we have the cost index 100, cruising altitude. So we have here the route from Lszh to Lszh, from Zurich International to Zurich International, runway 14, departure, runway 14, Suite to Alpha, and arrival, ILS 14, Transnegria 1 Alpha, Transsummity. You may see here this whole flight plan be created here in the navigation display. We also have the traffic, the other aircraft flying. You can see a small part of the flight plan. We come closer. You can see also the radar display, the terrain in front of us. So it's not yet complete. The flight path we're gonna follow. So here's the sender again. You can see also here the flight path on this side. So let's close the discontinuity. As you can see here, the root legs, the flaps we need for takeoff, and the center of gravity, and we have the V-speeds ready for takeoff. The thrust, center of gravity, 37% of mean aerodynamic force, and we're gonna have the V-speeds, the thrust, we need to wait maybe a second for this, so for the V-speeds to be calculated. So we are almost ready for takeoff. You only need to taxi into the runway. So as you can see, we have the outside view here of the aircraft. We have about 30 more minutes for this flight. So gonna come here. We need to disarm the parking brake and use the thrust lever to advance some thrust, and use this to control the noseway steering. So we can taxi into the runway. Maybe we have some traffic into this runway this time. We also need some taxi lights and some takeoff lights for this. So you can see the nosewheel steering. You see I'm using some thrust here. And we can use the braking also for aligning with the runway. So we're just ready for takeoff now. We have the flaps at the right position, should be 15 degrees. We have the autopilot panel here set correctly. You can see here the Mediterranean Sea and the Alps the Italy and the Austria here in the Switzerland. So we have the primary flight display, should be the ILS on. So we only need to align a little bit with the runway and start the takeoff roll. So we have quite a few more minutes, maybe 5, 10 plus 18. So we have 28 more minutes for this flight. We only need to disarm the parking brake, advance the thrust. You will see the thrust here being increased. I will show you before. You only need to align the runway a little bit using the rudder pedals here. The tail of the aircraft. Use the full thrust now. Full takeoff go on. $59 knots. 100 knots. You can see the airspeed here. We have V1, V rotate, and V2, and here we go. Have a small delay maybe. Here is the landing gear track. We have 28 more minutes for this flight. You can see the radio altitude above the ground level, the altitude above the sea level, 2,400, 500 feet. The airspeed in knots. The barometric altitude now is 4,500 above the sea level. Activate and execute the flight plan. So you can see now we approach the stall speed margin. Let's slow down the rate of climb now a little bit. So we also can use VL nav. You can see we use a maximum thrust now for takeoff. So we're gonna climb quite fast like that. Manual thrust. You can see how we down roll the aircraft. Pitch up and pitch down. We need to pitch down a little bit. We climb too fast, so we need to track some flaps now to a higher position just to increase the speed margin. You can see some outside view now of the Boeing 777 300 TRX. Hopefully you like it. A beautiful aircraft. Quite a night flight right now. So you may see how beautiful here's gonna fly over the lake. How beautiful the nighttime is here in the Switzerland, the Swiss Alps. We can use this switch here for pitching down the aircraft, so we won't climb so fast with this rate. of climb. You can see here the pitch ladder in degrees, the flap lever position limit, the airspeed selected 250 knots, the rate of flight 1350 feet per minute, passing through 17,300 feet above sea level. With the helm you can also the auto thrust if we want. Flight level change. Now we are the auto thrust system. We have all the modes on. So you can see how we fly into the next waypoint. Crossing maybe 20,000 feet in a few minutes, in a few seconds, actually not minutes. Let's see the whole aircraft now, a better view of the displays. Let's see, we approach a stall margin warning here. You can see the airspeed now, the thrust, the N1 95%, the N2 104.3% for the climb bow. So we need just bang right. You see we fly manually right now. So we are overflying the lake now, as you can see. Maybe we're gonna be overflying Germany for a while. We have like we have 18 plus 31 minutes left for this flight, so we're gonna be a little bit faster this time. So you can see the chemtrails now. Passing 23,000 feet. We almost reached our climb out altitude. 24,000 feet right now. 600 feet. 800, it's come inside just for leveling off the aircraft, and here we are, 35,000, doesn't need to level off a little bit, and retract the flaps fully, to the main this fly. Keep going 250 knots right now. You see how I'm trying to balance the aircraft. Maybe increase the airspeed in a while. So we have about 20 more minutes left. Exactly 20 minutes left plus 22 minutes left to this flight. So let's see how we're trying to balance a little bit. So maybe increase the airspeed. Yes, and also after doing the turn here. So we need to start turning to the airport. Maybe overflying the Germany a little bit. Just for a couple of minutes. You can see how beautiful the chemtrails are. We are overflying the lake here. and just a bit of the Germany. So you can see the vapor from the aircraft engines. This altitude is freezing. It's minus 37 degrees or something. So we're very high. We're 35,000 feet. So we're almost like 36,000 feet right now. We climbed a little bit higher. And, so we're gonna overfly the Germany for a minute or two. Here we are overflying Germany. You can see the valley. So we're gonna start turning now, leaving Germany in the back because we have not much time for this flight. Need to level up a little bit higher, 36,000 maybe feet, 36,000 feet. We will keep using manual inputs and also increase the airspeed a little bit to 300 and 20 maybe knots, 25. So this is how we bang roll manually, but now the flight director is on, the autopilot is off, so we need to go back to our waypoint and our airport. Maybe I will connect the autopilot in a while just to show you how to use it. So we have just 18 minutes left for this flight, so we need to be very brief and fast. Keep turning manually right now. "18 minutes left for this flight. We're just 35,000 feet again. So I'm going inside. So you maybe have to connect the autopilot in the way. So we just need to connect the autopilot. Here we press this button, we connect the autopilot and press the altitude hold switch here. With this airspeed, here we are leveling off. And also make it a little bit faster to the airport direction. We're gonna fly direct into the airport in front of us, so flying into this waypoint. Here's 114. We're gonna fly direct into the heading over there. We have 16 minutes left for this flight. You only need to set up one last thing now. the landing airspeed here. You can see the runway here in front of us. It's flying straight. Trying to find maybe the best way to reach the airport, the autopilot. So now we are connected with the autopilot for the Boeing 777. This lovely, beautiful view of the Boeing 777-300 ERX. We have the chemtrails here from the engine vapor. We have an overview of the aircraft. So we have maybe like 15 more minutes left. Right. So this is our spacecraft for tonight. The Boeing 777-300 ERX. You can see the galaxy now. We have it over here. So we are just 34 nautical miles away from the airport, as you can see here displayed. So we have to start the descent, decrease the airspeed first. And then the altitude. And press the altitude switch, the level change maybe. So the aircraft is gonna start descending. You can use on the speed brake. Just increase the rate of descent. 39 nautical miles away. 2,500 feet per minute. Higher rate of descent. You can see it will start the descent now. We still have the chemtrails and the contrails from above. So this is the spacecraft, as you can see. Boeing 777. We have the galaxy, beautiful view. $32,000 feet, keep descending. So we have like we have 30 minutes left, 13 minutes, which is not too much time. But hopefully we're gonna make it. We're very close into the airport. You can see the airspeed now is decreased to the thrust. You can see the thrust levers are moving automatically down to the idle. It's not like the Airbus. It has a motion feedback for the thrust levers when the thrust is decreasing. Using the FADEX, the full authority digital engine control computers, we have the primary flight display, the pitch ladder indicates for pitch up or down. The rate of descent 3,500 feet per minute, vertical speed selected, later on navigation speed, the ILS 136 degrees, DME 13.5, and the airspeed selected 250 knots, the altitude selected, we're going below 7,000 feet, you can see the map here. We have the two magnetic settings, you can see the airspeed here, the wing. The direction of the wing and the distance to this fix here. 14.3 nautical miles away. So maybe need to be a little bit lower than that, than 7,000, like 6,000 feet. So here is the airport. We have a few more minutes. We have 11 more minutes to go, so we're just on time with this landing. So you can see a lovely view of the Switzerland and the galaxy again as we descend. Just 11 minutes, 10 minutes maybe more to go. Just 10 minutes. So this is it. Just to end the time of the video, we have 11 minutes. Maybe use the speed brakes here. Maybe we need to slow down a little bit. So we're gonna extend the landing gear here. So the aircraft is trying to align us right now. So we're gonna take control. Disconnect the autopilot here. You can disconnect the autopilot like that. Connect it. Or disconnect. You see the autopilot now is disengaged. We need just to descend a little bit further. So we're gonna connect also the door lock for the Lszh localizer. We need just to descend a little bit further, a few more thousand feet, to just a little bit higher than we should be. So you can see the speed brake and the landing gear extended. Have maybe like 8 more minutes to go. Let's see where we are. We're gonna turn now manually. Just 7,000 feet. We are in the right altitude. Set some flaps, full flaps now, and decrease the airspeed even lower to the selected airspeed for landing. Like 160 knots. Maybe use the landing lights, I'm not sure. So we need to turn back into the runway. You can see we have the river here again. Just need to align. We can use also manual thrust here. We can increase the thrust manually while we have the auto thrust on. So if we need a little bit more airspeed, as we descend manually, we have like 10 we have quite a few more minutes to go actually. We have about 5 minutes, so I believe we are okay with that, with the timing. So here we are into the runway side, as you can see. Just have the Lszh localizer. We need to align with this needle here, with this diamond. And also you can see the flaps here, the stall speed and the rate of descent is correct. We are in the right vertical path for the runway, for landing. Just have a few more, 5 more minutes maybe. We also use the manual input from the control wheel, just to align with the runway and keep the altitude with the control column with the elevator feedback. So we need just to decrease the rate of descent a little bit. So we are in a very nice position here for landing. You can see we can move the aircraft. Doesn't need a lead, but higher. It does descend now. We track the flaps, the landing, the speed brake actually. The flaps stay the way they are. Have 12 plus 3, so we have a few more minutes to go. We have about 5 more minutes for this flight, so this is excellent. We are in the right position actually. I believe we have another aircraft here. But if we are lucky, it's gonna take off. Otherwise, maybe we're gonna use the other runway. We'll make a go around. But we have not much time left for the video time. It's only 5 minutes left. So we're gonna land in the other runway. We have like cool, we have a couple more minutes left for this flight, so we need to go around, which is terrible. Three more minutes left. Maybe we're not gonna make it, I'm not sure, but we're gonna give it a try. We had another aircraft around us in the back, so maybe 3 more minutes, I'm not sure. And maybe we're gonna make it. So the video time is about to end in a couple of minutes. 3000. Cool. We have like 2 more minutes to go for this flight. We still have the aircraft in the ground, in the runway. So this is gonna be a hell of a maneuver if we're gonna make it to land. Maybe 1 more minute. One more minute left. for this flight. "50, 420, 10. Just landed. Just landed very safely. Parking brake, full reverse thrust. So here we are, we just landed. We just made it. Cool. That was some of a landing. We had some technical problem with this flight, but it's okay. We had another aircraft in the runway, so we had to change runway, go around. So you can see we still have the nose wheels here. They're perfectly well, no problem with that. And the landing gear. We made a very nice landing. I think we have consumed